All right, so watch this video for Friday, January 5th. Trading's been fantastic. SPY still really strong, kind of hanging out at all-time highs. Before I go into watch this video for tomorrow, I got to show you a couple, just to give you an example of how nice the market's been. This CNET was on my gap playlist this morning. Gapped up. Hang on a second here. All right, gapped up on massive volume. And I want to share with you this call. And I was on the microphone and chat. You had this nice early pop. I actually called it over this 5-minute candle as a possible early trade, right over 320, which it popped pretty quickly to what, 387. So there was one trade. Huge. Actually, that's a pretty big move there. And then what it did, which I really liked, I couldn't find an entry here. Okay, I mean, it was just kind of hanging out near lows of the day. Then all of a sudden you get this volume spike, but it did a beautiful thing. Puts in a lower high. Now, right when it looked like this, I said, hey, let's watch this. Maybe we consolidate for a while. And if we do, I really like it over this 360, right? Because you've got a high and a lower high. Look what it does. Nice little tight flag. On the mic, I said again, hey, watch this CNET over 360. There's the break. Why do I like it over 360? The flag break. So you've got a battle here. I look at every consolidation as a battle between bulls and bears, but more importantly on something like CNET, because you had the huge gap up, right? It looked like, at this point, this looks like one of those charts that, oh, well, bears are going to win, right? Because it popped up and all the way round tripped, and it looks like it's going to go green to red and start filling the gap. So that's why this was so interesting to me. Next thing you know, shorts are in trouble, right? So then you get this flag. And the 360 break is like the bulls from this consolidation after this move winning this short-term battle, right? So 361, bulls are in charge. And I always, if you study what we teach in our chat room or in our course at all, I always want another potential catalyst nearby. So if I take this flag break, I look to the left. What's another catalyst real close? High of day break, right? After this big move, looks like it's going to roll over. Next thing you know, it gets through the high, short-term, big trouble. So my idea was 361, stop, probably below this candle, about 20 cents risk, something like that. And look what happens. So then we get the pop, and now shorts are going, oh my God, if it breaks the high of day, I'm in trouble. And man, it was off to the races and just went crazy. And I was even pointing it out here that I at this point, I said if this gets back through 5, it's worth another shot if you're not still in it. And it did that again. So there was plenty of trades to be had, but this is a very clean setup. Flag with a catalyst above and really blue skies above that. It's one of my favorite setups, and it was very clean today. Called in the chat room before the trigger. You know what? If you're in a chat room with like 1,000 people and you're just sitting there waiting for the moderator to say, I'm long XYZ or I'm long whatever the symbol, and then you're jumping in, and if a lot of those end up being a win for the moderator and they quickly reverse, and most of the people in the room lose, and then the moderator makes videos about how much money he made on all those trades, run to your bathroom right now and look in the mirror, because that's who you need to blame. All right, you're not learning to trade. You're just trying to gamble. You're just trying to log in and follow in someone's shadows and hopefully not be the last one out in musical chairs that occurs in a lot of these rooms. All right. So if you really want to take trading seriously and learn to trade for a living, you have to learn setups. Okay. The teamwork in our chat room is fantastic because you can go back on any symbol like a CNET. You can do a chat room search for the symbol CNET and you'll see like 7, 8, 10 people that were posting ideas in it that made sense. They're from our course that we teach. All right. It's never, oh, I'm long XYZ and then musical chairs ensues. So if you're in a room like that and you're frustrated and you're losing money and you think it's you think it's just you're not quick enough or you're doing something wrong, but the moderator's this amazing trader, you really need to reevaluate what you're doing. All right, because you shouldn't be following anybody. If you're buying something when somebody says I'm long XYZ, think about it. You're already chasing. Your moderator's already in it. So you're already buying it at a higher price than he has it. Contrast that, compare that to a room where we say, hey, this looks good if it breaks 360. Everyone in the room could have had this right there. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Big difference. And then you're learning the setups, and then you can decide whether or not to trade. But don't chase something that somebody's already in. All right. Anyway, I didn't mean to babble this long, but I had to share. Also, I want to give props to Wayne here. He called HTGM through the opening price, red to green, 271, triggered right there, ends up going to over 4. So there's another example. By the way, HTGM, Wayne pointed it out probably when it was like here and consolidating. He said, hey, there's a seller right there. I like the red to green. Okay. Again, anyone in the room could have had that. They were notified ahead of time why the moderator liked it and what the entry was. I just really want people to learn, whether you choose our room or not. There's some good rooms out there, but man, if you're just chasing somebody's calls, by the way, this isn't on my watch list, but it probably should be for tomorrow. You know, reevaluate. You really want to be somewhere where the calls are explained ahead of time, and then you know, a trigger price is given on that based on that explanation. All right. Anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to babble that long. All right. So my list for tomorrow: CNIT. Really nice breakout today. It already feels like chasing, but this is on watch because in after hours, this thing went up to like over 350 and closed out after hours at 329. So potential gap and go. There's the weekly. So these are weekly candles, and it's set to open. Who knows? We don't know what's going to happen in the pre-market tomorrow, but if it opens anywhere near where it closed in after hours, it's going to be a huge gap up and absolutely worth watching. Not sure what the float in is in this thing. Let me try to look that up real quick. So this one, let's go back to the daily. Showing 22 million in the float, at least according to finviz.com. This one's worth watching because of that big gap up tomorrow. BURG, which I believe is Hooters, gapped up, sold off again. We had it on long watch today. I mentioned this thing when it was right about 341, said, hey, this is breaking the high of day, getting volume, maybe worth a shot. And it did pop up to almost 380. But that was one of those that happened before I saw it. Anyway, it closed above its open, so I think it's worth watching tomorrow. I'm not in love with it, but this CCIH, also, I don't like to call stuff that's extended away from the moving averages, but it did have this big pop back here to almost 320 and a really nice candle today and really strong. It's got China. It's a Chinese name, and that with that CNET, again, I'll show you that chart. With that crazy move, China names are in play right now. So this CCIH, still talk about catalyst above. It still has a catalyst above. The $3 and then the 316 break went as high as 260 today. Absolutely worth watching. All right. RCON, nice little breakout of about a 1 month range on a little extra volume. We'll see if we get a red to green in that one, something like that. NFEC, this one's a little weird looking chart, but a strong close today. 1, 2 catalysts just above. Not sure what the float. I think this is a low floater too. I think this is a really low floater. It says 2.8 million. We'll see. That's what Finviz says. It's got China in the country that it's from. So in the description on Finviz. So this, the Chinese names are all worth watching. This one pretty interesting with that low float. Remember, I'm only going to take these with a proper intraday setup tomorrow because I'm a day trader. I'm in cash every night. IZEA got a nice pop today, closed strong. Looks like after hours it was even up in the 590s. It's a thin stock, but certainly worth watching. JTPY, nickel. It's one of those nickelers. If you're a trader, you know what I mean. It's a nickel spreader. But this is super interesting over 3. It had this huge pop back here. Nice bounce, and it just looks really good over the whole number 3. I'll show it to you on 15-minute candles. So, had this pop back here to 4, lower high, then you can kind of picture right here a little cup and handle. The 3 break on this one looks really good. DSS got a nice intraday pop today, closed fairly strong. Want to watch that one tomorrow. CCXI sort of had a relationship intraday with the whole number 9. See this pop to 9, a little bit of lower high. So this one, we'll see how it trades tomorrow. But this one, nice volume and held up pretty well. Kind of interesting through 9 tomorrow, depending on how it trades, obviously. GIGM, big list today, by the way. GIGM, very nice volume, closed pretty strong, maybe a red to green there. Live, this one is terribly, terribly spready. All right, so be very careful with this one. But I do like the fact that here's the old kind of recent highs that it just ripped, gapped above, but it's kind of retesting this area after, on an intraday basis, this thing was 2650. just what, 5 sessions ago, and now down hitting the 20-day and kind of retesting this area. Pretty good bounce play setup, but man, be very. I mean, last time I looked at it, it had just the nastiest spread, so I doubt I'll trade this. But if it gives a really good setup, I see volume coming in, I might give it a try. NETE. I don't know. This thing gapped up the other day, went to 1550, and then it's 3 red days in a row now. Actually, 1150 was the low today. Retesting the 8-day. I don't know. Again, this one I feel kind of weird about. But again, this is that one that had a crazy move with 33.50, about 2 weeks ago? So after the gap up here, a few days lower on declining volume, hitting the 8-day. I don't know. I think this one might turn tomorrow. We'll see. And then lastly, GCAP, which I don't love the daily chart. He had this crazy move, and then a gap up, and then came all the way back down, and it's just kind of chopping around now, right? But on an intraday basis, this gets some really nice move there, really nice move there, really nice move there. Kind of a quiet day today, kind of hanging. It's got decent support. It's finding buyers around $9. So this one, is absolutely worth watching tomorrow because it makes nice intraday moves. I'll tell you what, that's way too much to watch, and we're going to add gappers in the morning as well. But you know what? When you have these on a chart and you see a good setup in 1 or 2 of them, you can make your daily or weekly goal on just 1 of these or 2 of these because the market's been fantastic. So I'm going to leave my list at that, which is, again, more than I wish it was. And I'm going to quit babbling. We'll see you all tomorrow.